Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to deep dive into the mechanics of decision making during the innovation process. Innovation is rarely just a sudden eureka moment. More often, it is about how organizations navigate risk, uncertainty, and the available knowledge to bring their ideas to life. Today, I will be discussing six key concepts across three academic articles on innovation and decision making. Afterwards, I will apply these six concepts to a practical organizational setting to demonstrate how we can actively optimize our decision making processes. To set the stage, we first need to look at the very beginning of the innovation journey. So let's examine the front end of innovation, which refers to the earliest and often the most uncertain stages of a new project. My concept number one is the debunk method, which stands for decision making based on knowledge. In their research, De Oliveira et al. 2015 highlight that a major issue at the front end is the inherent uncertainty of project information. The debunk method was created to evaluate the existing knowledge a team has about the project information against the actual importance of specific decision criteria. By calculating an applicability measure, these methods help decision makers determine whether their choices are genuinely grounded in available knowledge or if they are being hindered by the missing information. Building on this knowledge, concept number two is the distinction between the project and portfolio levels of decision making. Oliveira et al. 2015 noted that decision making at this front end operates at these two interconnected levels. The project level is focused on evaluating and controlling individual projects based on specific business requirements and performance. Meanwhile, the portfolio level looks at the broader picture, seeking alignment between the entire group of projects in the development and organizational overarching business strategy. While the debunk method helps us identify what we know, we also have to manage what we fear. Once we understand the knowledge required for our projects and portfolios, we inevitably encounter the risks associated with those decisions. This leads us perfectly into our second source. We often treat risk as a static hurdle, but research by Brophy, Bareghe, and Hemsworth 2013 shows that perceived risks and success metrics are highly dynamic. This brings us to concept number three, shifting perceived risk. According to Brophy et al. 2013, innovation risks actively change in both their type and magnitude during and between different innovation processes. For example, the authors found that technical risk is generally perceived as highest during the early idea and resources approved stages. Conversely, marketing risk tends to peak much later, primarily during the post implementation stage. To understand why this shifts risk matters, we must look at concept number four, naturalistic versus organizational decision making, or NDM and ODM. NDM, naturalistic decision making, involves individuals' choices based on pattern matching, situation awareness, and story construction rather than purely rational calculations. When you scale this up to the ODM, the environment involves an increased amount of ambiguity, repetitive decisions, and ongoing conflicts. Because organizational decisions are heavily influenced by perceived risks, realizing that these risks shift throughout the project timeline is vital for preventing rigid outdated rule of thumbs from derailing an innovation. Given that we are dealing with shifting risks and complex organizational environments, the way we process choices becomes very critical. Navigating this ambiguous landscape requires a specific mindset. This brings us to our third source, which explores how the specific logic we use to make decisions can foster or inhibit employee creativity. Concept number five is the contrast between causation and effectuation. Blut, Maurer, and Brattle 2014 defined causation as a traditional, predictive based logic. It relies on establishing clear goals, calculating expected returns, and conducting competitive analyses. Effectuation, on the other hand, is the entrepreneurial logic that relies on control rather than prediction. Effectuators start with the means they have available right now, focus on what they can afford to lose rather than the expected returns. And they leverage partnerships and actively embrace unexpected events. Understanding these different mindsets leads us to our final core idea. Concept number six, the moderating rule of uncertainty. The critical finding from Blut et al. 2014 that is highly uncertain situations, which are typical in radical new product development. Applying causal goal oriented logic can actually have a negative effect on practice creativity. Trying to predict the unpredictable often stifles creative thinking. Conversely, the authors found that using effectual logic, such as focusing on the available means for the team and embracing the unexpected, positively impacts creativity when uncertainty is high. Now, now that we have established these six foundational concepts spanning knowledge assessment, risk dynamics, and entrepreneurial logic, let's bring them out of the academic realm and into practical setting. How do we apply these to a real world scenario? Let's consider a modern software development organization looking to improve how it innovates and launches new products. First, we can apply concepts one through four regarding knowledge, portfolios, and shifting risks. Often, tech teams will kill a highly innovative idea at the project level too early because they cannot accurately predict the long term marketing outcomes. By utilizing the debunk framework, leadership can step back and recognize that they simply do not have the knowledge to make marketing decisions yet. Furthermore, because we know from concept three that risk shifts, the team can stop applying late stage metrics like market ROI to early stage idea only phases. Instead, they should focus their early metrics solely on technical feasibility. Second, we can apply concepts five and six to foster developer creativity. In agile software development, uncertainty is a given. Instead of forcing developers into strict causal product roadmaps that demand predetermined features and returns, leadership should foster effectual decision making by teaching teams to embrace unexpected events. For example, treating a weird software bug as a potential new feature, the focus on the current resources they have available, developers are empowered. Blut et al. Assure us that this effectual approach will directly support employees in utilizing their creative skills in these highly uncertain environments. In conclusion, successful innovation is heavily dependent on how we process information and navigate uncertainty. By understanding that our decision criteria must align with our actual knowledge, that perceived risks naturally shift over time, and that entrepreneurial, effectual decision making thrives in uncertainty, organizations can build a resilient and highly creative culture. Thank you for your time in watching this video.